Hey guys, so I'm excited today to have a video to talk to Simon Sabin about the upcoming SQLBits next year, and also I think a discussion a bit as well on some of what's made SQLBits a bit unique over the years, and especially around diversity, inclusivity, and then in general, I would argue like some of the things that just has made it one of my favorite conferences to attend every year by and far. So thank you so much for joining today and giving a chance to talk about this.
No, thanks for inviting me on. It's been great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's we haven't interacted as much as I've done with Alex Whittles, but years ago, like when I first entered the MVP program, he was one of the ones that encouraged me to apply. And I will say, like, just overall and hands down, like European conferences and especially SQLBits, I think has a lot more fun than American conferences do. It is much more suit and tie, and like sometimes there's sponsor parties, but usually not parties sponsored by the event. It's just go do your own thing. And I think it's a big difference between like suit and tie feeling versus the first time I showed up. Sadly was not informed about the costume party, so I actually trained into London that afternoon, got a Chewbacca costume, and managed to get my way back in
Wow.
for the theme that night. It was a video game, but I feel I was close enough. I'm sure Chewbacca has been in a video game at some point. But like I think that and the board game nights and a lot of the other stuff adds to a lot of the fun that happens at those conferences. So I've always enjoyed. I think the more I've indoctrinated myself into European conferences and SQLBits, just seeing the gap between those two. I don't know if you've noticed a similar thing between US and European.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're fortunate. I mean, a lot of people have sort of said, "Oh, why don't you run a bits in North America?" And when I've looked at what's possible, it's really hard because the way the conference venues work and it becomes really hard to do things that are different. You need to follow the sort of standard rule. If you deviate, it becomes really hard from a union's perspective, from an organization, from a venue perspective. And I think one of the things that makes SQLBits different is like we aren't a media conference organizing company, and so I don't have a rule book of how to run a conference. And from day one, I've always gone, I want to do things how I want to run a conference and how I want to experience a conference, not how you should experience a conference, which is really hard because venues want to do it the way that every other conference they run is run. And so every time we go to a new venue, we have to have a big conversation about, no, we don't want to do it like that because we don't think that works. And so it comes on to the sort of what I think makes it different and some of the focus we have about SQLBits and what makes, I think, it a delight for many people that come to attend.
So yeah, you mentioned a couple things on like not wanting to basically hosting a conference in the way that you wanted, not how it's been done before. So like out of curiosity, how did like one the idea for SQLBits start? And if you had like a short list of 3 or 5 of like these are the things that I want our conference to do, what were those from like day one?
So the day one was sitting in a pub with a fellow MVP, a guy called Tony Rogerson. I'm not sure I was an MVP at that point actually, and just happened to be lived in the same village. And we went to the pub, and there's some mates of ours that ran a dev conference on a Saturday, dev DD day, developer days, and we said, oh, maybe we should do something for SQL, and so SQLBits was formed, and from then on, I wanted it to be a conference that people enjoyed going to. I mean, I hate conferences. I find them, I get really anxious. I don't know, I hate the food halls. I hate the exhibitor halls. I hate all of those experiences. I think they just really get in the way of what you're trying to do as a conference. So we focused on making that not be the thing, and just little things like food. I mean, we've all been to a conference and wanted lunch, and you've been to those conferences where you have to queue for half an hour for lunch because that's the way it's being served. And so one of the things we focus on massively is the fact that anybody that talks to me about lunch is like, my biggest thing is there should never be a queue. if there's a queue, we failed. Like, you should be able to go and pick up your lunch and walk away and not have to
Okay.
queue, because that I think, like, that lunchtime is a massive opportunity for you to network and meet other people. And if you're spending 30 minutes in a queue, like, A, you're going to be pissed off, and B, you're not going to like be wanting to talk to people. And so that probably is really at the core, is removing all those little things that make you get like frustrated and umbraged about being at a conference.
Yeah, and I hadn't thought about that one before, but yeah, you do the prep where there's those just the station you can walk up and grab. They're not serving you as you walk up. They've been put into the containers already, but it does essentially allow you to like walk slowly up within like a minute or less and just grab the food and sit down. So, out of curiosity, along the line of like some of the novelty, it's definitely been like, obviously a lot of tech conferences are going to be nerd focused anyways, but not necessarily nerd themed. And like, I've definitely noticed a pattern of like Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy and a few other ones that are video games. So, were themes done from day one? And were they always kind of like the fun, eclectic, and somewhat nerdy themes, or how did that come about?
No, not at all. I think we it was only really in uh, Telford in, gosh, I was just looking back, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, that um, we went and had a big party and a big theme, and really the theme is hard. Trying to come up with something, especially trying to think about fancy dress, is something that's going to be like usable for people to actually engage with, and also that like sponsors can align with, and isn't derogatory to any section of the community. And so it's really yeah, it's really hard to pick a theme. And the next one isn't, I think, isn't that sort of techy and along those lines. So, but like a lot of these things, they're fun, and so like they align with, like, yeah, people dressing up because that's what we want.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I mean, it culminates in the costume party, right? On top of like the themes that go into the shirt, the science and design and everything.
yeah.
So last year was neon. What's the upcoming one? I think I've forgotten what that
Or
is.
we haven't let that slip yet. So
Oh, okay,
yeah, that'll
okay.
be coming out in the next month or so, I think.
That's
Yeah,
fair. Okay. Yeah,
try and
I
make a
can
big
imagine
announcement.
under a committee, it's a little hard. Probably it can take a while to vote down and distill to a choice from everybody. Assuming there's probably sometimes people with a strong opinion of really wanting a certain theme.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like, it's like, because like some people come up with some great ideas, and then you go, oh yeah, but that doesn't really give many options for X and Y, or A and B, and like, how do the sponsors align with it? And so you have to like tear it apart and pull it back together. And maybe we do overthink things.
There's
And
one thought I have, and then I'll pivot to the diversity. I think as one of the unique aspects, but like similar to how at least in the US, like there's been times where Doritos has done like a crowdsource, online poll for like new flavor or other stuff. Have you ever considered for like an upcoming year doing like a poll or input where people can type in theme ideas to like collect a list of what the community might
yeah,
find is a good idea?
we definitely, and I think it's something that we're going to be doing a lot more of moving forward. Is so back in the day, I think, when we first started, we asked the whole community to vote on all the sessions, and that was our big driver for selecting content.
Oh, okay.
And we went away from that. We're going to come back to that to some extent, but also we're going to come up with, we want to come up with an ideas process, so people can, like, if they've got any idea, whether it's for a theme or a venue or an exit, like any aspect of the venue of the event, we'd like to, yeah, be receptive to those things. So uh,
Yes.
we will be setting something up that's a bit more formal, but if people have got ideas, like, ping an email to me or to contact us at SQLBits.com, and we're all ears. We really want to come up with these things, because yeah, my brain gets a bit stuck sometimes to come up with new ideas.
Yeah, the only reason it reminded, or I was thinking of that is I here, at least locally, I do like weekly sailing events on Lake Union near Seattle. But they each week throughout the summer, they also have a theme. So one week will be Pirate Night, another will be 70s. But at the end of the year, a few weeks back for the
Hey,
closing party, there was a like you could write down the theme suggestions for next year because they always shuffle them a bit. Yeah, imagine like
interesting.
50
Yeah.
boats on the water with just everybody on costume and dressed
Oh, that's
on the
cool.
boat with like half the people that choose to dress up. So it's pretty good
That'd be
times.
cool. So what would your top theme from that be?
Ones that I suggested. So and then this is more because I'm thinking of costumes, but I liked the idea of like a primary color. So mostly for the boat, for every boat that would dress up in the color of their choice, but it would be very vibrantly that as a particular one. But my
Interesting.
yeah, and the other one I had was food. So just everything related, because I'm thinking like people are going to show up dressed as a potato or a banana or like a hot sauce packet. So I'm thinking of what would be the silliest costumes for some of those. But those are my two
Oh,
ideas
that's
that
quite.
haven't been done yet.
Yeah,
Then
that's quite cool.
a couple more risque ones, but I'll keep those off the stream for now.
Yeah, there's plenty of them. Plenty of
Yeah,
them. Especially when you look at the online costume places and like, yeah, risque definitely seems to be the order of the day.
there's always a risque blank. Like whatever blank is a costume. There will always be a risque version of that
It's
somewhere.
always astounding, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
you think, how can someone make that like, yeah, but they do.
But
Yeah.
and again, to the idea of pivoting towards the other thing that I think makes it quite unique is at least when I was applying, the you SQLBits seemed like the first place that was largely starting to lean towards I think one as a culture inclusivity, but also even some of the sessions. Uh, I think was it last 2 years ago, I did a session on thriving with ADHD in tech as a session that was about soft skills and things like that. But it's not a thing that I see it a lot more commonly now in other conferences. But I feel like you guys were one of the first to start to put to put in those soft skill non-technical sessions, or things on burnout or anything else that's kind of just focusing on mental health as well as the diversity and inclusivity.
Yeah, I think we always had this different way of looking at things and trying to make people feel comfortable. And then we had the Souls join. So Rob and Tracy join the committee, and um, that really, I think, helped foster an attitude to be a bit more like formal about like that, pushing that forward and really pushing the inclusivity side of things. And like we've tried lots of things, and I think that's the thing, we're willing to try. Like we tried the crash, we had to sort of semi-pause it last year, but we did bring it back. Um, we've tried having like shorter sessions to make it more like accessible to people. That hasn't worked for a number of reasons. We've tried putting multiple speakers, because I think like it's much better to have a couple of speakers to speak and do a session, because like the attendees can engage better, I think, with two people. And I think
Sure.
I mean, I take that from seeing Paul and Kim do sessions back in the day, and I think that like they gel, they work really well, and I think it's a much better experience. That's why most TV programs have got two people, like I think work really well. But what you have to follow that through with is like the understanding and the education of the speakers and the attendees to like make sure they submit things that align to that. Like, you can't just chop down a 50-minute session to make it 20 minutes. You can't just get any
Yeah.
old buddy along to co-present. Like, you've got to have a bit of chemistry. You've got to work together. You can't just have someone standing at the side of the stage and someone else just dictating while the other person watches. So there's a lot of those things that like great ideas, but execution didn't really follow through. We need to like try again and make that better. We're looking to partner with some organisations to foster some more diversity, because it's a thing you've got to do you can't just do once at a conference. You've got to have a bit of more
Yep.
foundation, and um, So that's why, like, all of the other initiatives that you see around the community, I think are great to sort of foster new speakers, and I'd like to support new user groups, etc. Yeah,
Well, and
it's
one of the things that I remember that you guys have done for a few years now, and maybe you for the first to do it or not, but it's the headphones. If somebody's like feeling a bit like I don't want to be in a room full of people. I need to decompress a bit, but I can still, look at one of the TVs and at least listen in and still participate in that, which was I feel like another nice way to like help um, to nurture people feeling just comfortable at a conference a bit.
yeah. I mean, that's a really big thing, and it costs us a fortune. But I think it's a really important thing for people to feel part of the event. Also, like, we have this expo that like isn't an expo; it's just the where everyone meets. And I think having all the sessions present there just makes people feel part of the conference. It's not like you're
Yep.
in a hall down the road where you got your food and the hall over there. It's like it's this immersive thing. But like the other little things about feeling comfortable, like if you go to a conference, like the regulations say you can have 12 chairs in a row, like all, how they're linked together. And personally, I think that sucks because that means that people have to shuffle past people and it's really awkward. So, like, one of the little things we do is try and make those blocks as narrow as possible. So you don't have to squeeze past lots of people to get to your chair. So I think that's there's one
Yep.
extreme is like, yeah, we do those headset things, and this year we're going to take that a bit further. The intention is that you can have your personal headset you take around everywhere, so like, and it will work in the session rooms as well as in the expo. So if you want to sit there listening to the audio on your headphones rather than just like being in the room, because like I like having headphones on. Like I have two autistic kids that love sitting there with headphones on because
Yep.
they feel comfortable with that. So that not only helps hard of hearing people because they can plug it into their phone or whatever to make them hear better, but also it means that people can really focus and shut all the other noise out if they want to.
Will that be
So
through
that's
like a checked out pair of headphones, or will the from the app? Will you just be able to use whatever, like just you just click on the session and it just streams it?
So not sure about the tech yet. There's a couple of choices we've got. One, you bring your headphone and you'll plug it in or pair it with your the device. Another, you'll have to check out a set of headphones.
Okay.
So different things we're looking at, but definitely want people to be able to have that experience in the session room as well as the expo, because
Yeah.
I think it really enables lots of different experiences. Um,
Yeah, I mean, if I could have like, especially if you had like really nice like noise canceling earbuds or something else, you're sitting in the back, like honestly, you'd probably be able to hear the presenter a lot better otherwise, and it would immediately cancel out the noise, and let you have your own little sound bubble, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
and we're
Go ahead.
we're back to physical rooms like we have in previous years. So um, sound bleed from other rooms is not it shouldn't be an issue, but like I think it's still a thing where like just having headphones on just gives you a bit of focus. I mean, I personally find that.
I agree.
So
And actually, that's a perfect segue to speaking of 2026. And it sounds like there are some additions, but like, what are some changes that you can talk about, or other stuff to kind of look forward to? Because it sounds like you guys continue to pivot every year to try to like make build a better mousetrap version of the conference itself.
yeah, and it's really I'm my day job is data consultancy and DevOps and continual like change and
Hmm.
agility and all that stuff. And it frustrates the hell out of me the fact that I get one, one, 1 week a year to test stuff. Um, and so um, yeah, we this year we're trying to sort of reinforce on some of the things we've done in previous years. So we'll be running training days on every day because we feel that gives people better choice. It means that like if you want to come on a Friday and have a training day, you can do. You don't have to like, have the training day on the Tuesday, like you do on other
Yep.
conferences. Um, and so content wise, I think we're doubling down on that to make it really work. We're increasing the number of training days from what we had last year, so we'll be back up to similar numbers to previously. The audio is another thing we're trying. Hopefully that'll work quite well. The crash is back. The crash will be full blown crash. So all of the things that are standard secrets, we will be going back to a full blown party. We tried an external venue for party last year. It didn't quite work out for anybody that was there.
The place was cool, but it felt more like the place, less like SQLBits party. But it's and I think I ended up spending half my night, which by choice, but I really wanted to do the go-kart ride, but I realized it took me an hour and a half to do that, but it was super fun. But I resonate with you on that idea that it took away a little bit of the flavor because it was already pre-designed in its own thing.
I think it was awesome, and I mean, most people had a fantastic amount of fun.
Yep.
But yeah, it didn't quite have that SQLBits thing, and there were things that were just out of our control because we basically put it out to the venue to run, and so there were things that didn't run how I really would like them to run, and so bringing it back in house, we can.
It'll be in Wales again this year,
in
right?
Wales.
Was that where you had the D&D party? Or was that? Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I got through every single clue all the way to the end of the small anecdote, and but there was I was in line to get the little basically the prize from that, and there was a parent with 3 kids who just walked in front and said, "Oh, hey, excuse us." They just went inside, and I thought they were kids of an owner or something. I go inside who are they? I don't know. They were just but they cut in line of 10 people. So I got cut off at the very last prize. There is 5 minutes of being a little annoyed that I just went back to this stuff, but I had no idea who they were. I will say that was super fun though. I loved the exploration, and you have to sing a karaoke song to get the next clue. And that was I've only done 4 of the parties, but that was my absolute favorite one. I really liked that year.
Yeah, we definitely, the finish was a bit of I think we didn't quite expect how many people that were going to persist through the process, and so I think we definitely need to do a bit better. So
if you give a nerd a tech puzzle to solve, they will want to solve it. Yeah,
I know. We should realise that. So yeah, so we're back. We've got board games evening back again. So I think the really nice thing about Wales, and I don't know whether you found this, was that because there's not much else to do, everyone sticks around, and so from a networking perspective and meeting everyone, it's great fun, because it's a really immersive venue and experience. And we've got this year, we've got hundreds of nights of hotels available for attendees. So last year when we were in Wales, we ran out of hotels and people found it difficult to find hotels. This year you can book it through us, so it takes all that stress away, and we'll be laying buses on again to make it easy for people to get there. They don't have to worry about driving or walking or whatever. So all those little things,
small things that just that add up to a lot, right? It's little touches of thoughtfulness.
Yeah, that's the aim. Is if you come away thinking you're unbridged about something, anything that makes you anxious, makes you unhappy or unfocused about being able to make the most of your experience, I really want to know about it. I want to know what we can do to make it better, because we should do.
And out of curiosity, and also I think coming to closure as well on the conversation, but so to your note on maybe feedback or anything else, is if people ever want to just throw thoughts, suggestions, comments, either before, during, or after the conference, is there good resources for that? Just to connect with the SQLBits team in general on that, or what? Because I'll make sure to include it in the description too, if people ever just want to throw thoughts towards you guys.
You can go through any LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, any of the channels, even ping me directly. Happy to do that. Email, all of those routes, we're really receptive. And it's one of these classic, you don't know what you don't know until someone tells you about it. And
Yeah, I agree.
it's one of my biggest fears about when we open the conference is, have I broken something about the registration flow that means it's really hard? And yeah, we're trying to make the registration flow a lot simpler so it's easy for people, especially people that have got like a booking of 20 people, all of those things. We're trying to make it easy. So if there's things that, yeah, you want to let us know, feel free, tell me. We'll change it. I'm not stuck on anything. So let's make it better.
Oh, that's great to hear. And like I said, I'll make sure to include the relevant links for any probably be watching later down in the description. But then I guess any remaining closing thoughts or specific things that you want to finish highlighting for what will be coming next year, or anything about the conference in general.
Well, I mean, I think as an industry, it's a really tough time. Things are changing like by the day, by the hour, and like all the AI-ness, all the agent stuff. How can you make things better? Working with a customer today that had written some amazing SQL using ChatGPT, which was epic. The fact that they'd got to the end, I did cry a little when I looked at it. In that, if anyone's done anything with any AI agents, they generally have a tendency to build on top of stuff, which from a query perspective,
Yeah.
you end up with a query built on a query on. And so it was like, I reckon it was like, I don't know, 15 CTE long. And I'm like, okay, we need to educate you a bit. But better than Excel. So he was in a better place than he was like a week ago. And he managed to write this amazing thing. Probably didn't understand half of it, but so one of the big things is how you can use AI to help you in your day job. It's a really powerful thing, and I think as data people, the two angles we can definitely focus on. One is use it to make our things better, but also
Yep.
how we can use the data we've got to use it, build agents and build things to help our customers and our companies be better. So that's going to be a big focus because I know that
Yep.
that's what a lot of the industry wants. So,
But
and we'll
I would
still
agree
have
that
the
there's quite a
tours.
lot of practical sessions that you guys have at the conference, which is good. Like it's a good mix of the, I think, social, soft skills, community talks, to the technical, practical ones, and then some of the fun ones, like the other Simon that presented at your conference, which got a lot of controversy and fan. What was it? The data engineer is dead talk that he had.
Yeah.
But
Oh
like
yeah.
it fostered good conversations, which is I like. And he knew
Yeah.
what he was doing going into that. But like there's something to learn from any session I think that you go to. I've yet to sit into anything that's fluff. That is just, oh, like why did I waste my 60 minutes?
Yeah, and I think that's what we try and find the balance. We always wanted stuff to be really grounded in reality. We have the likes of you and other world-renowned speakers come and tell people like what works, what doesn't work, and how you can cut through the fluff that you see on advertising and other marketing sessions, so that you can really be successful. And that's going to be still a cornerstone of the content that we're going to have this year. So if you want to be successful in data, then it's the place to be, really.
Oh, I agree. And I look forward to attending next year as well. This will be my fifth, I think, my fifth one. I'm counting the one that
Sure.
was COVID because I was actually supposed to be there. It's my fourth in person, fifth that I would have planned to attend to. Because the first one it would have been an in-person training and session, but we had to wait a year for that.
Oh, yeah. Don't. It brings me out of hives just thinking about it. It was, yeah. It's still not a fun game, but yeah, we will be doing virtual. So if anybody that's been asking,
Oh,
we
nice.
will be doing a virtual delivery. So because it's amazing how many people that like don't want to travel to the UK. Well, and so it's a lot of valuable content, and we will still be recording. We will still be presenting like content online on YouTube afterwards. So still all the amazing things that SQLBits is is renowned for.
Well, with that, Simon, I really want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing your thoughts and opinions on SQLBits, the community in general, and just giving us a chance to kind of have an open-ended discussion about this. I think it's been fun to kind of look back at both what's been, but also giving people an opportunity to remember that we'll be having this again and going back to the really cool venue in Wales next year.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, and it's great to chat. And hopefully, we'll see you next year at a bigger and better as ever SQLBits with all the great things that we can deliver.
Excellent. Well, then I will see you then. And otherwise, cheers. Thank you for coming on.